Hey guys, my name is Azera and patch 13.20 came out for TFT and I'm here to talk about it. Now, before I talk about the new patch, I want to talk about patch 13.19 and the changes we should kind of expect to see and, things that were broken and things that were weak. So in patch 13.19, we had a lot of required changes. Xayah was busted, and that's not too shocking. They kind of overbuffed Xayah herself, and on top of that, Vanquisher's got a pretty good buff. And then on top of that, it's just like everything kind of fit together with the Power Creep on Ashe with Ionian Emblem. She was kind of already pretty good, and then when everything came together, it just fit. So that definitely got a big nerf, and that's kind of good. Another character that really needed a nerf was Nico, and that is annoyingly, not really. It didn't get big nerf, right? It's still there, and I'm just gonna say it. I hope they patch soon and nerf a few comps that I'll talk into in a bit, but I hope they also nerf Nico some more. Nico definitely feels like she's doing way too much damage, especially when she's supposed to be a tank unit. So the last group that kind of needed a nerf was multicasters. We did see those people who, if they hard force multicasters with Twisted Fate getting blue buffs, they kind of just got a free win if they got TF3 and then Sona 3. So the characters that needed buffs, we definitely want to see Aphelios and Void get buffs, but that was kind of really it. Everything kind of felt like in a decent spot. Fiora was feeling a little weird, but with her new rework, she's not bad. So that's kind of it for that section. I'm going to now talk about the new patch. Okay, so as far as the new patch goes, I'm going to break this down into sections and just talk about traits and just like groups as entirely. So for example, when we talk about Bilgewater, the 5 and 9 piece buffs were really good. I'm going to show them on screen. This kind of makes it so if you get 5 Bilgewater, you're not really so in a bad spot. And if you get, say, 9 Bilgewater, you just win the game. Oftentimes, if you didn't get that +1 Bilge emblem, you kind of felt like you were just getting a dead last. But now it feels like it's in a better spot, right? So now I don't really need to worry about hunting down Gangplank or trying to get a +1. So I think this is a really good change, and it kind of gets balanced out with the Vanquisher nerfs, so that way Nyla is not too oppressive. I do think this was a good change, because Xayah was definitely way too strong, and she got nerfs herself, so I'll be honest, you're probably never seeing Xayah carry for a while, especially with the patch or the set ending in 30 days. Now, I'm just going to quickly talk about Nautilus and Darius. Darius got a good buff, a little scary, I feel like he's getting power crept. I think they're trying to get the Noxus Darius reroll kind of like back in the meta, but we'll see how that goes. But the big one is Nautilus. Nautilus felt like he was awful, and him getting a bonus defense AMP is really good in my opinion. Alright, so let's talk about a little bit more into Xayah now, especially when we just talked about Darius and Vanquishers. Ionian Emblem, they got nerfed on attack speed, very good. Set got nerfed, he felt way too tanky, and Xayah got a massive nerf. I think this was a good change, and maybe not to the extent of nerfing both Vanquisher and Xayah at the same time, but they only did nerf 6 Vanquishers, so I kind of see where they're coming from it. I think the mana definitely needed to be nerfed, if anything, so we'll see how this feels. I don't think she's coming back in the meta, but that should be fine. I guess this kind of also leads, ending off on the build, we had a Graves nerf and a Rogues nerf. This made sense. Rogues still were feeling very oppressive, but that's kind of minor. It's not really too much, and I do think this might, be the final nail in the coffin for Rogues. I think that's all there is to it. Now, let me talk about the main meta comp, and something that should have been nerfed, but kind of got reworked as a buff. We have multicasters. So Talia got a buff, a massive one. Sona got a pretty big buff. Twisted Fate, although nerfed, he got a slight buff on his AoE delay. Now, oh my goodness, is this the meta comp? If you are not running this comp, you should expect that if someone's not contested and they're running it, they will get a first. Unless you hit a perfect 3-star 4-cost with best in slot, perfect augments, you're not winning. I'm going to show a screenshot right now when I was playing double up with a friend. Do note we just started playing double up, so this is around a silver gold lobby. And we almost, we won, but we almost didn't. Because we saw someone had a Nyla 3, and we beat them with, multicasters. That is insane to me. Our original plan was we had more health, so we were just going to take down his teammate and win like that. But my surprise when I was told, hey, I just beat the Nyla 3. Now, granted, the Nyla 3 had a Titan's Resolve, which isn't best in slot if you don't have scope weapons. It's not bad, but if your Nyla 3 can't, ramp up to the 25 stacks, it's not worth it. Now, I will say I had a Nyla 3 right here in this screenshot, and I almost got one-shot by Twisted Fate. and I had double scope weapons. So I'm just gonna say it. This comp overtuned, needs nerf. B patch, instantly nerf all the units. It's not even funny. Every single unit can be a carry, other than maybe Talia. Talia needs double trouble, but even then, it's still like Sona, Vel'Koz, Twisted Fate. They just one shot everybody. And the thing is, it's like they, because of how Sona and Vel'Koz and Twisted Fate are, they have, one has Pierce, one has AoE, and one has Spread, where Vel'Koz shoots out and it just goes left and right, and it kills everybody. It's not even fair. You delete front lines almost instantly with that. And to add on top of that, the Dragon's Claw got nerfed for its Radiant version, but in general, it got nerfed. So this just means that all, like, magic resistance, or just, like, magic users are just gonna pop off of that. And speaking of more magic, let's talk about Invoker. Invoker, slight buff with 6 Invoker. Karma got nerfed, or Karma got buffed, but Soraka got nerfed. Now, I'm worried that I think Karma carry is strong, but it is good they nerf Karma 3, but I think she's going to be bad right now. I think she loses to multicasters, but as we talk about power creep, I do think she is viable, right? Once this B patch comes, expect Karma to be the main carry. Okay, so let me talk about the final changes, and that being another comp, Shurima and Strategist. This is another comp that I think is very good, magic users as well, and I do think that they are very strong and a viable top 4, but with how the meta is, we'll see. It is a little scary that they buff both comps at the same time. I think, once again, when B patch hits and multicasters get nerfed, because they will, it is going to be the secondary meta comp, and I'll talk more on that later. All right, finally we have, like, I'm just gonna put this as the other change. We have the Zon changes. I don't play Zon. I don't really know much about it. I don't really like the gamble aspect of not knowing where you're gonna get, so I don't play it. But they got buffed. Rek'Sai, slight changes. It's nothing really crucial. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Aphelios did get buffed, and same with Fiora. She got a new rework, and although her ultimate is untargetable, I think she's still really hard to hit, and a lot of units will lose, like, tracking, like with how assassins or, like, hackers are. So she's still basically untouchable in her ultimate. But multicasters will still hit it, funny enough. So those are kind of small changes, and I'll put changes on for other characters, a lot of one-cost changes. Nothing too crazy. We did get a small Nico nerf, but it's nothing major. So that kind of wraps up for this section. I kind of want to now just break down the meta and how I think this meta will go and the B patch will go. So I'll talk to you guys there. Okay, so these are my meta predictions. And I've said it a million times, multicasters number 1. So I'm going to talk about everything else right now. So I do think Shurima Strategist is a definite solid pick. It definitely can get a top 4, and it's very strong right now, especially with the Zero carry. And if you get like 9 Shurima, you should win. I've seen it already. But that is one comp, and you could still go Void right now. Void has kind of power crept its way up where it's not been getting buffs, but I think it's okay. If you can somehow get +2 Void, say you go Earth and Placidium Library, you get +2, you're level 8, Baron could definitely carry you. He did get a slight change, but it's nothing really major. But he might be enough to get you a top 4. He feels very inconsistent right now, especially with how contested Kaisi can be with challengers. So be careful with that. So another comp that's actually really good is because Sona got buffed so much, you should be seeing some Damashias, right? Demacia right now is a pretty good comp where you go 7 Damashias and you get some Slayers in there. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I do think it's a very good option if, say, you want to play more flex. You can play like Kale carry with Slayers, or if that's not working out, then you can maybe pivot into something else. You can use like some of the items and try going like Gunners. I feel Jace is still really good, and I usually go Piltover with him. So I recommend that you kind of like play around with the meta, see how it feels, and if you really aren't liking how many people are going multicasters, wait till the B patch. I hope it comes within the week, but it might not come for 1+ week, but we'll see. So that's kind of all there is to this video. Basic like premise is some comps are broken. Hopefully it'll get B patched, but if it does get B patched, expect Karma and then Shurima Strategist to be in meta. So hope you guys really enjoyed that, and I hope you guys learned something. Bye bye.